Welcome to the deep dive. You've sent us some incredible sources, and today we're tackling a really big one, the Big Bang. We usually think of it as the start, right? A single moment for our observable universe. But what if that's not the whole story?
Exactly. That's what we're diving into.
Yeah.
Our mission, based on your sources, is to look at these fascinating cosmological models. These are theories trying to explain the universe's origin and evolution. And some propose our universe might be part of a cycle, expansion, contraction, maybe another Big Bang after a big crunch. So we'll unpack the standard view first, then get into some pretty mind-bending alternatives.
Okay, let's do that. The standard view. The Big Bang theory we usually hear about. It explains how things started super hot and dense and then, well, expanded to everything we see now. But the key thing here, it's sort of a one-way street, isn't it? The standard model doesn't really propose a cycle for our universe.
Precisely. You've got it. The standard model, which has a lot of evidence behind it, like the cosmic microwave background, the redshift of galaxies, it describes the singular origin for the universe we can observe. It doesn't inherently suggest it's going to collapse back and restart. It's a powerful story for our universe's beginning.
Okay, so if the standard model gives us our start, why even think about cycles? What's the motivation for this big bounce idea? Like, what problem is it trying to solve?
That's a great question. It really comes down to what about before? Cyclic models, often called the Big Bounce, tackle that head-on.
Yeah.
They suggest our current expansion isn't the end of the story. The idea is it could halt, reverse, and collapse into a big crunch. So the really radical thought here isn't just a cycle. It's that maybe our universe is sort of a recycled version of a previous one, an endless loop.
A big crunch. Wow, that sounds incredibly intense, and then it just bounces back from that extreme compression. How does that even work?
Well, that's the core idea. This supercompressed state could, theoretically, rebound into a new Big Bang, kicking off a whole new cycle, which implies maybe an infinite series of universes, each one born from the ashes of the last one. But look, it's compelling, but the Big Bounce has some serious theoretical hurdles. A big one is the entropy problem.
Entropy,
Right.
right? The universe tending towards disorder.
Exactly. How does each cycle kind of reset that increasing disorder to allow a new ordered universe to begin? That's a major sticking point for these models.
Okay, so it's not a settled picture. You mentioned alternatives, too, beyond the Big Bounce.
Yeah, there are other ways cosmologists think about this. One notable one is the quasi-steady state theory.
Yep.
The key takeaway there isn't cycles, but, well, maybe the universe has always existed, eternally. It suggests the universe stays roughly the same over time, maybe through some kind of continuous, subtle creation of matter, rather than these huge bangs and crunches. A very different idea.
Okay, wow. From an endless dance of bangs and crunches to this sort of eternal equilibrium really makes you think. But let's bring it back home to our universe, the one we can see and measure. What does our current best understanding suggest for us? Are we heading for a bounce or something else?
Right, that's a crucial point to clarify. Our current understanding of the Big Bang, the one that started our observable universe, it does not suggest a second Big Bang is coming within it. Not in that cyclical way. Our universe is still expanding, still cooling down. Now, there are other models about its ultimate fate, sure. Things like a big rip where everything gets torn apart or a big freeze, infinite cooling. But those are different endpoints entirely. They aren't the rebirth scenario of the Big Bounce.
Okay. So from that singular start to these potentially infinite cosmic possibilities,
Yeah.
we've definitely gone deep today.
Absolutely. And what's so fascinating is how these different models really push us, push us to think beyond just the beginning. We've touched on the standard view, the cyclical Big Bounce and its entropy issue, and even that quasi-steady state idea.
And it seems like while our current data points towards our universe having that one beginning and maybe a different kind of end, it's just so clear the cosmos still holds so many secrets.
Which leaves a big question for you listening right now, something to really ponder. If the universe is constantly changing, or maybe even potentially reborn again and again, what does that actually mean for our own place, for humanity's place within this huge dynamic system?
Definitely something to think about. Keep those cosmic questions coming. Thanks for sharing your sources and letting us explore these really deep concepts with you today.